Hello, everyone. So today, actually, this whole week, I've been thinking a lot about where I want to go with these videos. And what I think I'm going to start doing is talking about a certain section of my life and how and what we do to get through it. So today, I'm going to talk about relationships and having a blended family. I'm sure there's a whole population of people that live in a blended family, rather you're a step parent or you were a stepchild, whatever it is. um, it's not easy, and I'd be lying if I said it was. It takes a very big heart to be able to fill that role as a step parent. There's so many things that come into play. There's different upbringings, different personalities. There's other parents involved. There's so much to it, not including the backstories and everything else, and it's not easy. Wendy and I, we it's a crazy dynamic because you know we have a parent that passed away as well that comes into the mix, and then we have all the kiddos personalities, and it's crazy sometimes, but that's where it takes a really strong heart, and it shows that when you're with the right person, it makes even the strongest of challenges possible to get through. And when it's not meant to be, it just won't happen. And that's just how it works. And that's how we're able to get through it. We're not, when it comes to getting married and things like that, it's different. When you get married for the first time, you don't have kids yet typically, and you don't have all the different things and stresses of life. Where Wendy and I, when we got married, we combined a family of 6 kids, plus the backstory, plus everything else, with Sarah passing away, and making sure everybody was good, and it was tough. But you know, I think how we get through it is with each other and communicating a lot. I get frustrated. She gets frustrated. The kids get frustrated. We're always trying to make sure each individual kid is good, and then as a whole, they're good. I mean, there's a lot, plus work, plus everything else. And just imagine there's a bunch of spinning plates, and you're trying to juggle them all, and it's impossible. And that's my first wicket I want to give you guys is it's impossible to make everybody happy all the time. So you have to not feel guilty when one of your kids are upset about something. All right. That's part of being a parent. They're not going to be happy all the time. We have to be tough on them. We have to set our boundaries. We have to say no when we need to say no, and say yes when we need to say yes. And sometimes you just have to follow your gut. Sometimes you have to just wing it and not have a single clue what you're doing and just hope for the best. But I think the key is when you lead with love, uh, anything is possible. And I know it's tough, especially when you start adding work and different things. And that's why I always tell people, I tell my sailors, it's important that you take those lunch breaks. And it's important that if you can make it to those baseball games, those events, those different things, because at the end of the day, your family is what's going to be there, not your job, not all the other stuff you have going on. And so setting your family as a priority, and then also setting yourself as a priority, is very important in life. And we lose track of that sometimes because we want to be successful. We want to do what society says we need to do to be somebody. Listen, the key is to be you. All right. Just be the best version of you, and try your very best. And then the rest will fall into place. All right. It's crazy sometimes. I know it is, trying to get through the day, trying to make sure your kids are good, trying to make sure your bills are good, trying to make sure everything's good. It's impossible for it to constantly be good all the time. That's why you have to pause and regroup sometimes, recalibrate, and then try different approaches and see what works for you and your family. But do not get so wrapped up in comparing yourself and your family to others and their families, because everybody's different. You have no clue what other people are going through. And we get so wrapped up on what people are doing on social media, what's going on here, what's going on there, that you lose track on what's important right now. And that's being present and being there so you can notice when things are off with each individual kid, or with each other, or your relationships, or whatever it is. And then let go of that guilt. That parent guilt's a real thing. If you're anything like me, I constantly wonder how I'm doing as a parent, as a husband, as anything I'm doing. And listen, you're doing great. You're here today, and you're alive, and that's a blessing in itself. So just do your best, and know that it's not always going to be perfect. You're going to have meltdowns. If I had a nickel for however many times there's a meltdown in this family, or you're going to have to ground your kids every once in a while. You're going to have to talk to them every once in a while. This kid may not be happy. This kid may be great. This kid, there's so much going on. It's okay, and it's normal. All right, and when you're struggling, know that it's okay to take a mommy or daddy break and just catch your bearings for a minute. All right. But that's my take on it. You see a lot of good coming from my side of the house, but that doesn't mean it's easy. And we just do our best to get through it every day. We pause, we talk to each other. Little tips as we sit down for dinner every single night. We go around the table, we ask what was their best thing today, and then we keep going. That way you have that one moment at least throughout the chaos where you're sitting down and you're talking to each other about what was actually good in that day. And then you build off of that. And then every night, I'm the nighttime person. I put them to bed. I ask every single one of them what they're grateful for, and then we roll from there. And then same thing, Wendy and I, we have a whole list of questions we always talk about at nighttime, and we just try to keep growing off of each other. And I think that's the key to such a dynamic, crazy life that we have going on over here. And I'm telling you, and I can go into more detail in some of these other videos, but there's a lot. There's a grieving process still from missing their mom. There's a missing their dad. The others missing their dad, and this and that. And there's so much, but the key is just taking everything one day at a time, and just believing that everything's going to work out the way it's meant to work out. All right. So you guys have an amazing, amazing evening. And remember, you're doing way better than you think. All right. You're a great parent. You're a great person. And don't be so hard on yourself.